Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Six Figure Sunday. I am Barrett Matthews, and of course, you know my lovely, talented, and gifted co-host on Revenue Radio. But we're here on Six Figure Sunday now, Miss Kelly Perry. Kelly, how you doing? What's up?
I'm great. You know,
You
doing
looking
good.
great. Look like you've been playing in the snow.
Well, I did play in the snow a little bit the other day, and I had a ball. I mean, a real ball.
Snowball.
I made snow angels for the first time ever,
Wow.
ever. So, and it really does look like an angel. It really does.
Yeah, see, I was in the snow, but I wouldn't consider that playing. Uh, it was more shoveling, trudging through it, stuff like that. But I wouldn't consider it playing. Now, the funny thing is, I was talking to one of my friends. I said, guys, by this time we would have played football about three times now and been on our sleds and so forth. But yeah, times have changed. Times have changed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can't say times have changed too much for me, but in that category. But I would say um, it was really delightful to be outside. I was with my youngest daughter, and she was like, "Mom, just run and jump." And so she did it. She said, "Come on, Mom." And normally, back in the day, I would have been like, oh no, you don't do that. But I
You do
did.
that.
I ran and I jumped, and it was so cool. And then we just laid out in the snow and made snow angels and snowboarded. And I would have got all of this on camera, but
Camera.
both of my phones died.
Damn, I don't think.
So
You just
hey,
have to take your word for it, Kelly.
huh?
You just have to take your word for
That's it. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I guess.
it.
Maybe
No,
tomorrow.
yeah, it can be a lot of fun. I mean, and for those of you watching who are not in the area that we're in, then you don't know what we're experiencing. But but we had a blizzard,
Yes.
and I got a feeling we may get another one before the winter is over with.
I believe they have one that they already said coming Thursday. It's going to be some more snow, and I'm pretty cool with it. I'm not as disappointed I say as years before. I'm
Mhm.
pretty cool because I know what to do now.
Right,
When
right,
it's before you didn't have a plan outside of go to the grocery store and buy some food. That was the only plan that it was.
right. Yeah, and it's funny. Our topic tonight on Six Figure Sunday is how to maximize time for maximum profits. And I guess we may as well jump into it. But you know what? Hold that. First of all, let's say who we are. Kelly, you first.
All right. Kelly Perry. Kelly Perry Enterprises, your business startup expert and co-host to Barrett Matthews on Revenue Radio, radio talk host. I'll say, business consultant, dream developer, and overall, I just love helping people turn their dreams and ideas into profitable businesses.
All right. And she homeschooled. I know Chris would like that one. But I am Barrett Matthews of E2E Systems. I'm an author, a coach, a trainer. What I do is I focus on productivity and profitability. My job is to take you where you are and to make you better than you were and more profitable than you were. And I am also, as Kelly mentioned, the co-host of Revenue Radio on Survival Radio Network. I also host a conference call on Wednesdays called a call to action. It's Wednesday at noon. And if you guys follow me on Facebook, you can find out all about those wonderful things that I am doing. Now, if you have a business, we would like you to go to our Revenue Radio page. And just, let us know what you got going on. Let us know that if you're in business, if you want to do some things, or who you are, where you're from. If you want some help with coaching from us, we are experts in our field, and we can definitely help you do that. And we have some more exciting things coming down the pike for everybody as well, don't we, Kelly?
Yes, we do some very exciting things because we really love what we do. I love what I do, helping people grow their businesses and showing them better ways to use their time and to create other products to produce revenue. So definitely want to follow. My goal this year is to help as many people as possible, achieve their dreams. And so we're doing everything that we can in Six Figure Sunday, from Revenue Radio, from um, their conversations. Um, everything we're doing is to help you to
Mhm.
build your businesses and really have the success that you desire to have.
Now, one thing that I want to get into with the people who are watching this, as we said, our theme today is how to maximize time for maximum profits. Well, one of the things that I'm gonna get on all the parents of these young men out here. If you have a young man and they're living in this area with all this snow, don't let him sit inside playing video games all day. Make him go shovel some snow. One, is good for him, but two, he can make some money. He can be enterprising. You know how many people started businesses and became successful entrepreneurs just by hustling little things like that? You could create somebody who can be a mover and a shaker in society just by encouraging them to go out there and shovel some snow. It's not going to kill them, guys. It's not going to kill them. A little hard work isn't going to kill them. Sometimes, in our efforts to make things better for our children than we had it, we actually handcuff them because we don't let them appreciate what hard work is really like. If they can't appreciate what hard work is really like, they're never going to get to the part of where the money comes in and where the success comes in because they never knew what it was like to work for it. So I encourage you to do that. Now, on a side note, Kelly, chime in on this if you want to. I was talking to a friend in Baltimore today, and I asked her what she was doing, and she said, "I just got in from just talking to someone about shoveling my snow." I said, "Hold on, you mean nobody came?" I said, "None of these males decided to be men today and help shovel your snow?" And she said, "That's exactly what I'm telling you." She said, "I just paid a young girl to come shovel my snow." I said, "What?"
Well,
And she said, she said a high school girl knocked on her door and asked her would she let her shovel her snow for $30. And she said yes. And she said, "I paid the girl 60." And I said, "Now," I said, "do me a favor. If you could get the girl's contact information, I would love to talk to her." And she said, "What do you have in mind?" I said, "Well, I'm thinking we're going to get some more snow." I said, "This young lady needs to go around now and talk to the people and ask them, can she have the privilege of shoveling their snow for, say, $40 if, when it snows again?" And if they say yes, she can get them to sign a small agreement with them that she will come around and do it. Then go see all of her friends and hire them to shovel snow and pay them $30. She will make $10 off of someone else's labor all day long, and she can shovel some herself and make the whole 40. But either way, she can become the business owner and become an entrepreneur and get that mindset going. I would love to talk to her because I love that. Now, and folks, whoever's watching, think about that for your kids. Think about that in the spring when the grass needs to be cut. How they can have a lawn business going. But you have to stop thinking inside the box. Think outside the box and let your children grow with that. I'm
yeah.
sorry, Kelly, I ramble.
No, no, no. That's true. That's true. And really, for those that are listening, if you are an entrepreneur, and because you want to instill that in your children, my daughter said the same thing. She said, I should have went around and asked people, could I shovel, do their snow? And I have girls, so that's why I love girl power. You know,
I
thinking
ain't
too.
mad at y'all.
But you do, like, as we're sitting here right now, I can hear one of my neighbors snow plowing their, what do you call it, driveway, right? And I'm thinking,
Mhm.
like, really? Is that the best use of your time at 9 o'clock at night? When somebody could have easily went by during the day, great time during the day, and took care of that for him, and he could have been doing something else. But yet, he's outside shoveling his or using the snow blower, his driveway, and he's been out there for a while, so at least 30 minutes right now, right? And I'm sure he would have wanted to be doing something else, but he didn't mismanage his time. Uh, he may have got lazy, started watching TV. Uh, Maybe he sit down and watch the game and fell asleep, and now he's out there at 9 o'clock at night. So, definitely when we look at the time that we have, what do we want to do with it? What do we want to create with it? So I love that the young lady decided, hey, you know what? I need some money in my pocket. So I'm going to go and ask, hey, can I shovel your snow? And that was very creative. And definitely, it is needed. So it's not like it's not a demand out there.
Right.
Because plenty people would say, yes, I don't want to do that. I don't want to shovel the snow. Let somebody else do it. So that's pretty good. We definitely want to pass that on to our children.
Yeah.
And not give them the opportunity to just kind of sit and enjoy the life that we create. But they can enjoy the life as they create their own life that they can enjoy.
I think about it. How great would it be a kid coming out of high school knowing you got your own money
Yes.
and your own business or businesses?
Right, right, right.
I have a
And
friend who did that. He came out of high school, went into college with his own businesses already.
definitely. I mean, hey, who would? Who wouldn't have? Who wouldn't want to, be like that? Uh, if you have the mindset that, I want to create something, I want to generate something that will create some revenue. I don't have to do all the work, but I can get it started so that I can generate the revenue, for it. That's something that, to me, that when I look back, and it's amazing. I remember my kids when they were little, it was so funny there. But they got up one day and they said, we're going to start a business. And so I was like, okay, cool beans. So they went and they created their whole business. They did everything. They didn't need me to do anything. They gave each other assignments, right? And I'm like, these are little kids now. They gave each other assignments. And before I knew it, they had baked cookies and they had made lemonade. And they went out through the neighborhood. They made flyers. They went out through the neighborhood and gave people flyers and set their little lemonade and cookie stand up. And we're in a cul-de-sac. So, people got to come into, they got to turn to get to them. So they didn't think about that part, but they got, and I'm thinking like, Lord, let me help them. Let me call some people to tell them to come over here to help these kids. But they worked it out themselves, and people started coming over, buying from them. People that I didn't call started coming and buying, and so they made the best use of their time. They could have been inside playing a game or watching TV, but they came up with an idea to start a business. And we're in a great kind of weather, or you're stuck inside. The schools are out. Your job may be closed or whatever. You can't get in, and so this is a great time to think about a business that you want to start, a book that you want to write, something that you want to do. This is the great weather to do it in.
Exactly. And the thing is, we were just talking about doing that with the weather and the kids. So a lot of you, as Kelly said, are entrepreneurs. What did you do while you were stuck in the house? Did you just sit around and eat junk food? I know some of you did. I know some of you actually prepared to do that. So that's why I brought it up. But my point is this. First of all, one expression that I get tired of hearing people say, Kelly, is that I have to do better at managing time. And let me tell you something. You can't manage time. You can't do it. And then let me give you an example. Kelly, how many minutes are in an hour?
60.
Okay. How many hours are in a day?
How many hours in a day? 24.
How many days are in a year?
365.
Can you change that?
No.
You can't change it. So how are you going to manage time?
Right.
You can't do it. The time is time. It's just what it is. Only thing you can manage is what you do with the time.
Right.
So my point in saying that is that We've been snowed in on this area here probably since Friday afternoon, early evening. What did you do? See, Kelly and I got on the phone Friday, said, look, let's do a six-figure Sunday. Let's make sure we do something with this time productive. We've already been talking to clients together. We've been working. We've been working to make sure our time was utilized to make us some profits, not to make NBC, ABC, or Fox profits. You know, we didn't want to make HBO richer than they already are. Our job was to make sure that we could do something productive, and not just for the profit, but to help other people as well, like yourselves. But we want to make sure that we did something with that time we had with our time to manage our schedules, to make sure that we were productive, to make sure that we can become profitable in doing that. So I asked you, what did you do? Did you read a book? And I'm not talking about Zane or something like that. Did you read a book that actually can help you grow as a person? Did you read a book that's going to make your business better? Did you even listen to an audiobook? Something. I spent yesterday evening watching a DVD from a guy that wants to help you to better your memory, to help you when you have to remember certain things and speeches and presentations and people you talk to. He helps you remember those things. But I wanted to better myself, so I took that time to do that. See, here's the thing. Kelly and I have not talked about this. We've not talked about this, but I'm going to ask Kelly, what did you do to better yourself over these last couple of days?
Wow. So, what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
I created.
Because I know you did something. That's my point to the people. I know she did something.
Oh, definitely. So, read a book. I wrote down my chapters for the book that I am writing now. I got my chapters in order. And I started kind of writing down the skeleton of my book. And then I worked on my clients. I kind of got them all organized and some things that need to be done for them. I had to create my whole schedule. And then I sent out some emails to follow up with some potential clients. I caught up with, I watched different videos, of course, to educate myself and to I love telling stories, so I love watching things so I can get content from it. So I did quite a few things to better myself during the snow. And the thing is, if you're listening, right, that not to beat up on you. It's always, sometimes we're always saying we don't have enough time, which is the funny thing. It's the same amount of time every day, but it's as if people use that excuse, I don't have enough time. So it's not that you don't have enough time, it's the time that you have, you don't use it to do those things that you need to do, right? So you have to look at, when I knew the snow was coming, I started preparing myself for the snow. I knew some things. I had set some things aside. I'm going to work on this. These are some books that I want to read. This is something I want to work on right here. I want to do this right here. So I started making a plan how I was going to use my time so that my time would be productive. And I love that word. That's one of the things I always ask, are you having a productive day? Because you can have 24 hours in a day, but was it productive time? Was your time productive in those 24 hours? And so, 7 to 8 of them, you could probably say yes because you were sleeping. So that was productive, but how about the rest of them? And that's a funny thing, Barry, that, 7 to 8 of those hours are sleeping, but look how many we have left. What are we doing with those hours?
Good point. Very good point. And it's a matter of really, like you said, you prepared for the snow.
Right.
You okay?
I am. No. I agree with you.
You prepared for the snow, and you got ready for what was coming, and you knew that you were going to have to do something with the time that you were allotted. Right. So you said, I'm going to make sure I do something productive. It bothers me if I'm not being productive in my day. And if you're saying that you want to be a business person, you want to be an entrepreneur, it should bother you too. If you're not doing something productive, it should be bugging you. You should be asking yourself, what can I do something more productive? It's not sitting around eating popcorn, watching Netflix. It's not, don't get me wrong. We all need R&R time. We all do. We all need the relaxation time. But you should be rewarding yourself after you've done something. That's I mean, that's really the point. You can reward yourself, but you have to have done something to reward yourself for.
Well,
Like, do
and you
something
know what?
productive.
Especially if you're that person that's saying you don't have enough time,
Mm.
to get all the things done that you need to get done. Because even in that, let's just say that I noticed that with the new client that I brought on, I'm gonna, some more time is needed. So I said, you know what, I need help, right? So even at that, with the time you're looking at it, okay, well, I can't do this, but I can create this so things can happen. You are looking at the time that you have, excuse me, you're looking at the time that you have and saying, how can I make the most of my time? And I
Hmm.
think that's an important thing because I think even in looking at all the time that you have, you can put those other things in there. Like I made time to go outside to make snow angels and to play in the snow with my daughter,
Hmm.
right? That was a part of my time. I put that in there and I said, hey, I'm gonna go have some fun with my daughter. But also I had time to do all the other things. So my thoughts would be there, when you look at your time, what are you doing with it? What are you doing with your time? Because if you didn't get things done while you were in the snow, do you have a problem with your time when it's not snow?
Hello.
You know?
That's a good one. Yeah, because the thing is, you're as you put it, we all have the same amount of time.
Hmm.
So we all have the same amount of time, and we have a tendency to people that say I don't have no time. I want you to understand something, and you're probably going to disagree with me because everybody disagrees when I say this. With them. That's an excuse,
Yep.
and I always say, "Well, that's not an excuse." Yes, it is, because if we're all having the same amount of time, and some of us can be productive, and you can't. And when I say can, I don't really mean can. I mean you actually choose not to because you've chosen to use your time differently. So if you're choosing to use your time differently, you can choose to turn it around and do something different with it to make it more productive for you. But that has to come from within you. I can't make you do it. Kelly can't make you do it. You have to decide, I'm going to make my time more productive for me. So, being that we all have the same amount of time, are you saying, I don't have enough time? You're giving yourself an excuse as to why you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And and you have to stop doing that because this whole weekend that we've had with all this snow here in Maryland, they hold all up the East Coast. Most of us, and I say most, I mean like 90% or more, have been snowed in. We couldn't go anywhere. So if you couldn't go anywhere, you have no excuse of I had to go here, I had to do this, I had to. You didn't. You didn't. It's a lie. You didn't because you were stuck. You were stuck in your house. You couldn't do anything, so you had to have done something. But if you chose not to be productive, I don't know what to tell you except that you have to change your mindset. You have to wrap your mind around the fact that time is your friend. Use it wisely because it's okay. I'm going to make this point to you. It's more valuable than money. It's more valuable than money. If you had $1 million today and you lost it tomorrow, you can still get another $1 million. You have a chance to get $1 million. But if you have time today and you lose it, you can't get that time back. So if your time is more valuable than money, use it wisely. Kelly?
That's true. You do have to use it wisely. And when you begin to see that instead of saying, people say this a lot, time is just moving so fast, or, again, I don't have enough time, but it's like you haven't assigned something to that time. So when that time doesn't have an assignment, You just kind of use it any way you want to use it, right? So if you haven't decided that I'm going to read for 30 minutes, then that means in that day, if you haven't assigned a time to do that, then it's not going to happen. Most of the time, if we don't say something specifically, it's just like going to the doctor. If we didn't set an appointment to go to the doctor, then most likely you wouldn't go. And so here's what they do: you call them and you set up an appointment, right? And they say, be here at 1 o'clock. And in your schedule, you already set up to say at 1 o'clock, I am going to be at the doctor's. Why? Because that is your assigned time. Well, that's the same way I look at it in anything else in life, right? If you're going to read, if you're going to say, hey, I want to educate myself, I want to be, I want self development, I want to build a business and grow a business, so I need to develop my business mindset, then you have to set time aside to do that. Because if you don't, you're not going to do it, right? You're not going to read for 30 minutes. So you have to say, on Mondays and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to read at, 5 o'clock for 30 minutes, right? And when you're serious about yourself, you dedicate that time to doing that. It's with reading, it's with exercising, it's with everything. Even when it comes to eating, you should eat at certain times, late in the evening times. So you set those things. I found that one of my issues, was eating. I could just work and do everything and forget to eat. But I had to set times where I did it. I had to make the best use for my time. And this is when I'm going to eat here. This is best for me. This is best for me. So when you're looking at the time that you have, I think in a day we have 24 hours, Barrett, 24 hours. 8 of them, right, 7 to 8 of them we spend sleeping.
Right.
And so that leaves us how many? So
7, 8, 24, 7, 16 to 17.
17 hours, right? So in 17, and we have 17 hours left. We took out sleep. So let's just say you work, right? You work 8 hours. So how many hours does that leave us now?
I don't know, 6 to 7.
6 to 7 hours. Okay. So now we have 6 to 7 hours, right? So then what are you going to do with those hours? Right?
Well, I'm going to be more productive.
And that's it. You want to be, so then you take those hours, and someone may say, well, I spend 2 hours in traffic. Okay, so we'll take those 2 hours. But this is what you can do with those 2 hours in traffic. You can have some CDs in the car. You can have audio books. If you have Bluetooth in your car, your phone is Bluetooth, you got audio books that you can have download. I mean, you can be educating yourself as you're in traffic. They say that, man, that's your college education on wheels. Right there, you can make the best use of your time. And so those 2 hours can turn into a college course. You could even listen to a book or listen to, someone teach on a specific area right there with those 2 hours you're in the car, making your time productive. Instead of sitting in the car and complaining about the traffic and fussing at someone going down the road, or calling somebody and telling them what somebody did at work and how you going to build your business. When I get around to, I'm going to build my business. Well, right now you have the opportunity to build your business. As you are on your way to or on your way back from work, you can be educating yourself with that time.
Wow, and that's so true. That is so true. I can't tell you how many CDs I have in my car that are educational, that are to help me grow. And I'm about to subscribe to Audible. And Audible, like, it's for a monthly fee, a small monthly fee.
Yes,
like $15 a month. I can listen to all these books in a month. I'm like, oh my God, I can just plug in my MP3 in my car. I can just drive and listen to all these audio books. It can help me to become better. And that's the whole thing. Why are you going through this thing of saying that you want to be an entrepreneur if you're not doing the necessary things to make yourself better at it? You're going to have to push yourself. Now, Kelly went over a second ago about, her problem was eating, and she had to set a schedule as to when to eat. That wasn't something that you just do willy nilly. That wasn't something that's easy to do. But she, yeah, it's not. I know that. But she did it because she knew it was something that was going to make her better. So my question to you is this: what are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to make yourself better? Because once again, the time isn't going to change. It's not going to change. It's what it is. You can't add an extra hour onto a day. You can't add an extra day onto the week. You have to do it in the time that we're allotted. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit there and say, "Well, I didn't have time. I ran out of time"? No, you didn't. You didn't. You just didn't use your time wisely. So
Right.
now you need to say, "How can I use my time wisely?" Not, "I run out of time." See, when you give yourself a defeatist attitude, saying that I've run out of time or I don't have any more time left, you stop trying to figure things out. What you need to start doing now is changing your mindset, changing the way you talk to yourself, and say, "How can I use my time better? What can I do to put in that time? What kind of schedule can I put together that will maximize my time so that I can have maximum profit?" Until you start to do that, you're going to continue that cycle of saying, "I don't have time." But you're going to have to change some things. And Kelly and I were just talking before the broadcast, and I was telling her a quote I heard from Dr. George C. Fraser that said, "If you don't like change, you're going to really hate growth."
Right.
So you're going to have to work on changing some things in the way you deal with time, because time is constant. It's not going to change for you. It's not going to increase for you. It's not going to decrease for you. It's not going to stop for you. If it stops for you, well, everything has stopped. You're not here anymore.
And when you think about time, I always think about John Maxwell when he talks about cutting his grass, and he said, "What's the best use of my time? Is it to be cutting my grass, or should I be working on another program, or a speech or a book, right? And pay somebody else." And somebody else would say, "Well, I'm not paying nobody else, but what is the best use of your time?" When you could be working on something that will produce revenue, right? That has no issue in paying. You're working on something that will produce revenue instead of working to get something done. Like my dude out here, he's at it for an hour now, right? He could be in the house listening to us, or he could be watching the game, or he could be hanging out with his family. But yet he's outside at 9:30 at night. It's been out there for an hour. Is that the best use of his time? No,
Probably
I
not.
don't think it's the best use of his time. It's not the best use of my time because I could be doing something else. And I was thinking, I wrote this down. I didn't put it on the board. So I wrote this down, right? Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like we have 24 hours in a day, right? And 8 of them we spend sleeping. And I put 2 hours in traffic. Some people, wherever area you are, maybe less than that. But 2 hours in traffic we can use for education. So you spend 8 hours at work, right? Then I give you 2 hours for family time. Even though I know some people don't spend 2 hours, but we'll just say family time is eating. It's you're doing all your stuff you got to do, and maybe talking to your family. But then there's 4 hours left. What are you doing with those 4 hours? How are those 4 hours becoming productive for those of you that want to start a business? When you say, "I don't have time to call clients, I don't have time to send out emails, I don't have time to write that book, I don't have time." Oh, here we go. What are you doing with those 4 hours right there?
Kelly, you just did something really bad. You took away excuses. Oh, you took away excuses, Kelly. They can't. Oh man, they just saw it. You just wrote it out for them. They. Oh wow, I don't know what they're gonna do now, Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to, if you really, really want to start a business. And I believe when you start a business, your time is the most important thing, right? So how you use your time. I look at, there's time I use to work on and build my business, time I use to work with other clients. There's time I use for my husband and my kids. You know, my time is valuable. And because it's valuable, you know, if I look at it, oh, yes, this is really good. I just thought about it. So if I look at it, right, it's time
Ooh,
being
ooh.
money.
Can I have some? She gave me $1, y'all. She gave me $1.
But let's look at time as being money, right? So how are you spending your money? You know, are you spending it watching TV? You know, sleeping all day, every day? You know, hey, I got some time off. I'm just gonna sleep off, spending it. Because then when you look at it, if you're spending it on things that are not gonna give you anything back, you know, TV is not going to give us anything back unless it's something you're watching a documentary or something that's going to help you in your business. But, you know, if you're just watching, you know, TV reality shows, you know, 4 and 5 hours a day, it's no return on that. No return on that investment at all. But when I take time to read, right? If I commit to reading at least 30 minutes a day, the return on my investment is great. Why? Because it's going to benefit you in your business. It's going to benefit you being a leader, being a thought leader in the community. It's going to benefit you in the growth and development of yourself. There is a return on your investment. But the things that, and you got to look at the things that you're investing in, are they giving you a return? Because I look at as again, I look at time as what? Money.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, you have to put value on the time. Because let's face it, Kelly talked about the sleep and the traffic. So there are obviously times that you can't do everything that you want to do because of certain things. But and I'm talking to the entrepreneurs now, not the people who want to be entrepreneurs, but the people who call themselves entrepreneurs. If you know your business and you know yourself, you know that there are certain times of the day that you are more productive than another time. So why not take that time, maximize that time to do the things that you know that are the hardest things. For instance, as Kelly mentioned, you know you have to call people. You say you just don't like being on the phone calling people. Well, do that at the time that you're most productive. Because if you're most productive at that time, that means you are more alert. That means you're ready to work. That means you have the most energy. Do it then. Do the thing that you like to do the least at the time when you are at the most productive.
Right.
Because then you'll get that thing done. You'll knock it out. You'll feel better about yourself. And I guarantee you, eventually you'll start to say, you know what, it's not that bad. And you'll probably find something else to replace it as the thing you don't like to do. But still, that's a way to grow. It's a way to be productive. It's by utilizing that time to the best of your ability and making sure that you can do things on a higher scale just by maximizing your time so that you can maximize those profits.
Right. And the whole thing is, you know, it should be the thought. How can, instead of looking at what you can't do or what you don't have, look at what you can do and what you do have. To me, if I only have an hour, I'm going to make the most of that hour. How can I make it the most productive, right? That has to be the thought pattern. It cannot be, oh, I don't have enough time, or oh my gosh, I never. And right there, if that's your thought pattern, guess what? You're going to have that every time. So what you have to do is begin to change how you're thinking about your time, right? How, okay, I have an hour. Guess what? In that hour, I'm going to do this. Sometimes it may require us to, you know, even to wake up a little earlier. I had to change my, you know, sleep pattern. Go to bed at a certain time so that I could get up a little earlier in the morning so that I could get some things accomplished, right? In my own life, right? I know how I want to get my day started. So if I wake up a little earlier, I can get those things done, and then I can start working on these things right here. Again, look at me. I'm putting a plan in place for my time. And I know, just what Barrett said, that these are the things that I work most effectively on at this time of day, at this time. So if I wake up a little earlier, then I can get these things done, right? And then I can move on to the other things. So I believe that you have a successful and productive day when you plan your day out and you know what you need to do. Excuse me. Ooh, sorry.
All right.
So, yeah.
We get a
So
little choked up, y'all, when we talk about this.
So when you plan your day out and you know exactly what it is you're going to do. So just like being during this time, the blizzard of 2016, right? I planned it out. And so guess what? We're going to have a little more snow. Some more things are going to come. So what do you want to plan? I mean, you could plan, hey, I can write a book. Hey, we're snowed in for 2 days. I'll work on my book, right? What are you going to do with your time? And really, I hope that from this right here, you'll get rid of that excuse, I don't have enough time. Because the time is there. It's what you're going to do with the time that's going to make the most or the biggest difference in your life and in your business.
Mm, wow. Now, here's the other thing when it comes to time, and we we're beating this issue because he, Kelly and I are really adamant about working smart and making the most of the time so you don't have to kill yourself. One of the things that I advise for entrepreneurs, especially, and for those who even who are starting up, start building a team. Get people around you. Surround yourself with those people that do things that either you don't want to do or do things that you're not the best at. Have them do the work for you. And I know plenty of you thinking, well, it's my baby. It's my baby. Well, guess what? Even if you have a baby, at some point you're going to have to leave the baby with someone else. So it's the time. If your business, you're going to have to let someone else take hold of it for a second, just for a second. They're not manhandling things and tearing up your whole business. If you let them do something they're good at to help you, and what that's going to do is free up time. If you have not read the book The E Myth, get the book The E Myth by Michael Gerber. It talks about you spending more time working in your business instead of on your business. If you're working in your business, you don't have time to grow it. If you can work on your business, you can have other people doing the inside stuff and you have time to grow your business. So that I'm just encouraging you to please, please, please take, take your time to build a team. Get some people around you that can help free you up for other things.
So I think, as we talk about this, here are a couple of things that I believe, or a few things that I believe you should do. Number one would be to really look at how you're using your time now. So really look over, think about it. Even if you have to take a day and you kind of make a mental note of how you're using your time. Because when you do that, I remember taking this finance class, and in the finance class, one of the things we had to do was to write down every time we spent some money. And I was like, oh, it ain't no big deal. I don't spend no money that often. That's how I thought until I left class and I stopped at 7-Eleven. And I would get like a snack, some chips and a bottle of water, right? And then as I was stopping my car, I said, oh, I have to write that down. I don't want to write that down. I got these chips. Oh, I'm not going. But what it made me do was really rethink how I was spending my money. Because, again, that's one of those things, oh, I've never had no money. Well, I got enough money to go to 7-Eleven and spend like $5. And if you think, if I do that every week, look at how much money I'm spending. What's the same way with your time? If you start having a thought, if you're looking at how you're spending your time, you'll second think yourself when you sit down and you're watching that TV show. Like I walk into my daughter's room and she may be watching something, right? And for a minute, I start looking. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I'm looking. Then I said, I'm not getting caught up in this. No, you're not stealing my time because I become mindful of my time. So that's what I want you to do. Become mindful. Begin to really look how you're spending your time. And then when you look at how you're spending your time, now how are you going to change how you're going to
Mm.
spend your time, right? So what is it that you say you don't have enough time to do? I don't have enough time to read. I don't have enough time. What is it that you don't? Because now that you know you have time, because you see how you were, doing this or doing that. Now you can make the changes to begin to add those things into your time or assign those things to a time, right? You may not be as fanatical as me, but I like to say, at this time I'm going to do this right here, or I'm leaving this block of time for these particular things. And right there, when you begin to assign that time, you know that that time is dedicated to that particular assignment. If you're going to work on making calls to clients, right? Or calling and pitching your sales or whatever, you assign a block of time and you know that that's what that time is committed to. And so you want to look at doing that. Now you want to assign, things a specific time. Hey, I want to read, every day for 30 minutes. Well, when are you going to do it? Because if you don't give it a block, if you don't give it a time, if you don't give it a position, it's not an important thing in your life and it'll get shoved off to something else. So you have to give it that time, just like that doctor's appointment, like I talked about earlier. They tell you to come in Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Guess what? You there at 12:45. You do not want to miss your appointment. So assign yourself for your business time. Give time. Yeah. Just like you go if you're working, if your business is not full time and you're working, you give them 8 hours. Some of you give them more. You give that time to them. How much time are you going to give to your business? I think I told you, Barrett, I talked to this lady one time and I said, well, how much time are you willing to commit to growing your business? She said, oh, about 30 minutes. I said, 30 minutes? She said, yeah, about 30 minutes. And I was like, wow, I'm sitting there thinking like, are you serious? 30 minutes and you think you're going to grow, a successful business? But that's all that she could commit. Now, what I normally would do, I said, well, you know what? I'll take your 30 minutes, right? And we'll increase that time. But she was like, no, I don't have no more time. This is all I can do. And I'm like, well, at least be open, If this is all you can do, I believe as you do it, right, and you see progress, that time will increase. It'll increase. The more you do it, the more it increases because you begin to see results. And you'll want to do more of that so that you'll get more results, right there.
That's right. And the thing is, I want to do two exercises with the people watching. One exercise I'd like you to do, and I want you to write this down, and I want you to share it with people too as well. I want you to write down for the next 7 days. I want you to keep a journal of everything you do. From the moment you wake up in the morning. What I mean by that is if you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is go to the bathroom, write that down. If you go and brush your teeth, write that down. You took a shower, write that down. If you go get dressed, write that down. If you get a cup of coffee after, write that down. I want you to write down everything you do each day for the next 7 days. Then after those 7 days, I want you to look over that list of what you've done. Analyze it. Find out how much time you've been wasting on things that you don't need to do. You heard Kelly talk about going into her daughter's room and almost getting sucked into watching TV. Think about how much that happens to you. Think about how often you may be going to just do something and next thing you know, someone starts a conversation with you and you get caught up in that conversation and it goes on and on and on. And then you don't have the time that you needed to do what you said you were going to do in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I want you to do that for the next 7 days. Write down everything that you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Write down those things. The other thing I want you to do, this is another exercise. Now write this down separately. What I'd like you to do is to put a dollar value next to the time that you spend working. Meaning that if Kelly said you have 4 hours, it was 4, right, Kelly? Mm-hmm. You have 4 hours to work. In those 4 hours, put a dollar value next to it. Now, here's what I want you to do also. Put a dollar value next to the 8 hours that you're working for someone else. So if you're making, $100,000 a year, working 8 hours a day for them. Break it down as to how many hours, how much per hour that you are making. And you should be able to figure that out easily. Simple division. And then what I want you to do is to, so a lot of you say, I want to start a business so that I can replace my job. Well, if you do, you know what you need to do now. So you need to replace that job. So if you're working 8 hours a day and you're only be able to work 4 hours in your business, so cut it in half. So if your hours are worth, I don't know, $50 an hour for the job, you need to be at least making $25 for those hours that you're working for yourself right now. And you need to figure out what you need to do to make that per hour. So do that. And if you can do that on a consistent basis, you'll start seeing things grow. Then it's just a matter of increasing the time that you're working. So instead of 4, you may go to 5, you may go to 6, you may go to 7. Because remember, you're going to learn to free up time by writing all those things down.
Right.
So if you're freeing up that time, you may free up an hour or two in your day. Then you may do like Kelly said. You know what? I may change my sleeping habits just to give myself another hour because that could mean more money for me. It could mean more productivity for me. But in order to do that, you're going to have to take those small steps and change. You're going to have to take small steps and change something. So I want you to do those two exercises for yourself. And go on Revenue Radio on our Facebook page. Let us know how it turns out for you.
Right. You know, I wish I would have broke down the numbers. I think a couple of weeks ago, I was at an event. The guy was talking about how often we use our electronic devices. You
Mm.
know? So when we start calculating that, and I know people are like, don't get really tedious, Kelly. No, I'm not. I'm just saying for those of you that say, I don't have enough time when the thing is to find out what are you doing with your time. So what are the things that are snatching your time? Is it Facebook? You know, is it some form of social media that you're spending a lot of time on? You want to make sure that when your own social media that is being productive, that is it's either it to me it's doing one or two things, right? It's either increasing your visibility or it's increasing your profitability. If it's not doing one of those things, then it's just social, you
Mm.
know. So when I'm on social media, I'm on there for two reasons, right? Either to increase my visibility or to increase my profitability. And if I increase my visibility, it will increase my profitability. But if I'm just on there for hours and hours and joking and clicking and reading and none of it is productive to me, it's a time stopper. And so those are things that you definitely, want to think about when you're writing these things down, these time stuffers, that are, coming in and taking your time. So another thing I want you to do, even when you're at work, this to me applies whether you're building your business or whether, you're working a 9 to 5 job. And there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 job because guess what? That 9 to 5 can be your biggest sponsor for your business. It's the sponsor for your business. So, how are you using those hours, at the job? How are you using it? So the thing is, if you want to be effective in building business, time is an important factor to look at because as you build your business, it is up to you to grow and to build your business. So if you spend your time, some people can't wait to, get their own office and I'm in an office and you get in the office and then you do what? What are you gonna do? Right?
Mm.
So you want to know what you're going to do with your time, but you want to know that it is precious when you're building, your business. And so creating a plan. And I'm sorry, I just feel like a plan just, will help things to flow better, especially when you're building a business because, you can get in there and sit at your office and bundle around some paperwork and move this over here and I'm gonna move this around and I'm gonna organize my office and everything. And before you know it, all your time is gone. And you haven't done anything that would increase revenue in your business. Remember, we go into business. Yes, we go into business because we love what we do, but at the end of the day, because we're a business, we want to generate some revenue. that's going to determine whether or not we're a business or a hobby. So, at the end of the day, you want to know, what are you doing with your time? Is it effective? Am I using it to the best ability? And look, he finally finished. He's done an hour and minutes.
He was great for this webinar. He was really great for this broadcast.
I know he was an hour and almost 30 minutes out there. So that's quite funny to me. But definitely, you want to look at your time. It's important to build your business. You want to be effective. Everything to me is looking at, how am I using it? How am I using my time? And I believe Barrett did talk about, as you build a team, I looked at some of the things that I'm doing in my business and I said, this is not the best use of my time. And so because of it, I could keep doing it because I want to save money. I don't want to spend I don't want to pay nobody else because I can keep that money in my pocket. Right. But it's not the best use of your time. You're using your time to do something that you could allow somebody else to do, and you could be doing something else. And so you have to look at those things. To me, I think that's that poor man's mentality. We don't want to bring somebody else on because we want to keep all the money in our pocket. Not realizing that the best use of our time would be to bring somebody else on so that we can generate some other resources in our business. So, those are the kind of things that I think, the kind of thoughts that we have to get rid of and recognize, what is the best use of my time? Is the best use of my time to be sitting here sending out some tweets and Facebooking, when I could be, talking and getting new clients? What is the best use of my time? And when you realize and you recognize what the best use of your time is, and I'm telling you, that's when the business really starts to grow.
And the thing is, before we wrap up, I want to. We have a client, Kelly and I have a client, Sabrina DeHady. So Sabrina makes these wonderful gift baskets. Sabrina, just like the rest of us, has been snowed in the last couple of days. She just posted on Facebook her gift baskets that she's putting up for sale. What has she been doing with her time? She's been maximizing it for profit.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Don't sit on your laurels and not let anything happen. Don't let the moss grow up under your feet. She took that time and to me, it's kind of brilliant. She had cleaning supplies and she turned it into a gift basket.
Hey.
I think that's brilliant to me. But she made it into a gift basket. She couldn't get out to the store and get all the frilly stuff that people want in gift baskets, but she made a cleaning supply gift basket. Guess what? Somebody needs that gift basket.
Right.
So, but that's what I'm saying. She used her time for profit. She maximized her time for profit. That's all we're saying to you. I just posted on Facebook, don't be the snowblower that Kelly has next door to her. Don't be the snowblower. And I posted again, be the teenage girl that started shoveling the snow and got her hustle on.
Right.
Maximizing the time.
And I think if you do these, I'm telling you, when I did it with the finance, it changed my whole thought pattern. So I know when you do it with your time, because you won't sit down and watch, that TV show for 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. I'm gonna have to find that. I can't remember the exact statistics of hours that people spend each night, watching TV. It's definitely between 3 to 4, maybe up to 6, but it's like so many hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So when you do these exercises, when you write everything that you do, and I know you may think it's tedious, but I'm like, if you're really serious about making, your time effective and productive, you'll do these exercises so that you can make the necessary changes so you can get to the successful business and generating the revenue that you want in your business.
That's true. So Kelly, I think we've made our point today. What do you think?
I think so.
So guys, we will definitely look forward to hearing you guys, or having you hear us on Revenue Radio this coming Friday. You can hear me also on my conference call, A Call to Action. Kelly, I know you have a radio show too. You want to tell them about that?
I do, on The Remedy, which WDJYFM.com. You can listen every Tuesday at 4 o'clock, 4 to 5, as we share solutions and strategies in building a successful business.
All right. So follow Kelly Perry on Facebook. Follow me, Barrett Matthews, on Facebook and Twitter as well. But we want to make sure that you guys are becoming part of the Six Figure Sunday family. We will be back again. We will be back with Full Revenue Radio as well. We want you to join us there as well. Everything's picking up steam, and we want you all to come with us. So we got some business innovation enterprise information to be bringing to you soon. I can't wait for that, Kelly. But Kelly, I think I'm done. As I always say, don't just settle for being awesome. Set your goal to awe them all and take action.
And I'm Kelly Perry, and I'm going for my dreams, and I encourage all of you to go for your business dreams too.
Peace.